And so this theme of a completely new generation being disconnected with their past because they're brought up on a different language and culture still continues to this day with Vietnamese people. I am that example. Because after 1975 and this mass exodus of Vietnamese refugees to different parts of the world, children of those refugees being brought up in these different countries, brought up abroad, and really sometimes there's just really little incentive for them to learn Vietnamese, to even learn Quốc ngữ. I feel like at a certain time in the colonial period, there was a time when there was just really little incentive to learn chữ Hán and chữ Nôm. And so me being brought up in the US, there was little incentive for me to learn Quốc ngữ, even learn Vietnamese, because I could just get by perfectly in life with just English, because I live in the US. English can get you pretty far in the world as well. Very little Vietnamese I did know back in the day, it was just used to communicate with my mom, and that's it. Even with the Vietnamese growing up nowadays, more and more Vietnamese will continue to not use Vietnamese anymore and just communicate with whatever language they've grown up with. You have all these Vietnamese people growing up overseas who aren't able to read about the past, even the past like 100 years when Quốc ngữ has been used. Vietnamese people are disconnected with those last 100 years. Even when all the Hán Nôm texts have been translated into Quốc ngữ, you know, Vietnamese people being brought up overseas definitely aren't reading that one either. Nor are we necessarily particularly interested in that, because American media and Western culture is just so strong and alluring, or even other kind of like more wealthy Asian cultures like Japan or Korea. Well, I feel like Vietnamese culture is currently lacking in something that would really attract this like younger audience of overseas Vietnamese people. Before I go, I'd just like to leave you all with one quote by Phạm Quỳnh. Now, Phạm Quỳnh said this during the colonial period when Vietnamese people were worried that their identity was being erased. Phạm Quỳnh said this quote about Vietnamese identity. He was referring to Truyện Kiều. Paraphrased. It goes, so long as that we have our language, we will have our identity. Because Truyện Kiều at the time was such a strong work of Vietnamese literature, as long as we had something like that, something that we could feel proud about, something proud about our language, something about our culture, we would also hold on to our identity. Anyway, thank you all for listening. I hope you all have great, prosperous developments of seeking your own identity. Until next time, Min là Min.